So let's put our eyes on the big debate tonight between the U.S. Vice President Mike Pence and the Democrats' VP nominee, Kamala Harris. Meantime, the chaos around the stimulus package continues on the Hill. Andrew Schmertz is my colleague in New York, and he's here to help us make sense of these and a few other headlines. Good evening, Andrew.
Good afternoon, Basan.
Great. It's good to see you. We spoke yesterday about the stimulus. Now, the president ended the stimulus talk by just a tweet, and that took the market down with it. Today, we had a bit of a reversal. Mr. President now is proposing some standalone stimulus money, for example, for the airline. What's the latest?
Total confusion. Honestly, that's where we are. As you mentioned yesterday after we spoke, President Trump sent out a tweet ending the stimulus talks. That tanked the market. The market fell within the last half hour yesterday by 300 points. Then this morning, he woke up and tweeted, never mind. We're going to do some targeted stimulus money. So he is going to talk about doing some airline stimulus money. They very much need it. There's been more than 35,000 layoffs just last week in the airlines, and also handing out $1,200 stimulus checks to most Americans, similar to what was done in the spring. Now, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin are still talking. They spoke twice today from what we understand, and they're expected to speak again at the end of today. In between all of that, the president is actually going to speak to Mnuchin, and they're all going to try to get on the same page. Now, the airline stimulus money that the White House is now proposing amounts, the Democrats say, to the amount of money that they proposed and rejected last week. So there's a lot of things up in the air right now. Pelosi, of course, and the Democrats are pushing for a comprehensive $2.2 trillion package. Now the White House is pushing for something much smaller. We don't really understand right now exactly where the Senate Republicans stand in all of this. They remain a big unknown. Now, the markets are liking this news. They're rallying today. The Dow is up about 400 points with about 75 minutes left in the trading day. And as we have seen, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. But what do you expect to happen tonight between Vice President Mike Pence, facing off Democrats Kamala Harris, Vice President nominee? What impact do you think this will have on the markets and the future of business?
So historically, the vice presidential debates have had neither an impact in the political environment nor an impact on the financial markets. But this is not a normal debate. It is not a normal election year, and it's all up in the air, largely because the president, of course, has been sick with COVID. That puts Mike Pence even more in the spotlight. And because of Joe Biden's age, Kamala Harris obviously is in the spotlight. And Harris herself has been rather progressive on some financial and economic issues, something that corporate America generally does not like. But Biden would be president, and he is more moderate. So it's just a kind of a viewpoint on what you think and how far left Biden might get pulled into the office. Right now, Wall Street is pricing a Biden victory into the markets. They're sort of assuming that might happen. So probably all of this is saying not a whole lot unless there's some major bombshell in the debate tonight.
Andrew, I'm surprised how you cope with all of these stories, because we're discussing stimulus, we're discussing the debate, then you talk about the Supreme Court, about the nomination of Amy Barrett. However, the court is pressing ahead with key businesses around Google, Oracle, Ford, all have cases which hearings begin with, continues with the remaining 8 justices on the bench. Can you tell us a little about these cases and the impact on business decisions they may have?
Yeah, so the big case is this copyright dispute between Google and Oracle. Here's sort of the high-level background of this case. Google wrote 8,000 lines of code to impact its Android operating system, to run its Android operating system. Part of that code, Oracle is alleging they stole from Sun Microsystems. Oracle acquired Sun Microsystems, and Oracle is now suing Google. Google is defending its actions, saying that this code was not that relevant to the overall platform, as well as technology experts saying that it would simply be too disruptive if the Supreme Court rules in Oracle's favor. However, in those opening arguments that we heard today, Oracle has come across pretty good in analyzing what the court justices have said. They seem to be siding with Oracle, but it's obviously not anywhere an idea of how they will eventually rule, which will come in June. Meantime, Ford is also going in front of the High Court. It's over a liability case. This involves a jurisdictional issue as to whether these lawsuits should be brought in state court or in federal court. Ford wants them in federal court, much more harder to prove liability. States want them in state courts, or the plaintiffs want them in state courts. That decision also will impact businesses going forward. So some high-profile cases that most people aren't really talking about because they're focused on the Supreme Court nominee. Either way, that nominee, if she got nominated and approved onto the court, would not rule in these cases because she's not hearing the arguments.
So we could just get everyone to go to the gym, both on the Capitol and the White House and everyone. Just go to the gym, try to gym it up. But the gym, but the American gyms had been hard hit from the pandemic. How have they been coping?
Yeah, so Americans are fitness crazy, right? We all want to go to the gym, but Americans have taken their workout outside. You know, we see people working outside all the time. I come down to work. I bike down to Battery Park City. It's about a 4-mile bike ride, and I pass some large fields, both soccer fields and baseball fields, and all the kids in school. They're supposed to be in school, but I see them all outside playing sports. So all of this has moved outside. That is crushing the gym industry. The gym industry's trade group, the International Health Racket and Sports Club Association, estimates that the gyms have lost $14 billion since the pandemic ended. And even though many gyms have reopened, they're only opening to a limited number of customers. And honestly, a lot of people are nervous about going into a gym where people are spitting and sweating. There's, a lot going on in a gym, and it's hard to social distance and keep yourself totally safe.
Yeah. What about a dinosaur? Where is it? Rex.
So how much would you pay for a bunch of bones? Somebody has paid $31.8 million. Now, these are special bones, granted. This is a nearly complete Tyrannosaurus Rex, sold through the Christie auction house for nearly $32 million. That's far above the estimated price. They estimated that this would go for $8 million. Now, the skeleton has a name, Stan, is considered an impressive fossil skeleton. There are not many dinosaurs found complete, or as complete as Stan has been found. It stands 13 feet high and 40 feet long. Its teeth, by the way, if he was alive, could devour whole animals. These were strong, vicious animals. It's believed to be 150 million years old.
Andrew, let's leave it there for today. I'm just trying to imagine $31 million US at this time of the pandemic. Have a great day in New York.